And good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great weekend. Welcome to the works for this week. We have a great guest here who wears a lot of hats. His name is Wade Simmons. So he's in the world of entertainment. He's a filmmaker, producer, writer. He is also a funeral service worker. He's been there for about 11 years. And something about you want to be a pro wrestling manager, as well. So welcome to the show. I see you wear a lot of I see you wear a lot of hats. So tell me about some of these hats that you're wearing.
So I'll start with the funeral bit. So I've been working in funeral service, as you said, for 11 years. I went to school to be a mortician. Around 2016, I came out in 2018. But I mean, I have been doing this since high school. As far as filmmaking, I've been, writing and making characters and stuff like that. Since I was a little kid, I used to be into photography and stuff like that. So that was also a big passion of mine. But really funeral service is what really led me back into like doing everything that I'm doing, because like like working there, you see a lot. I mean, you get to meet people that of all walks of life. You get to help people, but I mean also you servicing people at the end of their life, and I mean you see what 106-year-olds to 9-year-olds, and so like when you see things like that every day, it makes you just want to make the most of your time.
Hmm. Yeah. I hear a lot of people, that's what they, talk about, when they're in the funeral business. I know I have a couple of friends who has been doing this just as long as, you have. And for the most part, they do enjoy their work. Um, so it says you're also a filmmaker. So what type of films that you what type of films are have you produced or you're looking to do?
So I mean, so far I've been doing a lot of more short films. They're like little family friendly, romantic type of films. I mean, I've been doing that like 4 years now, but I'm looking to eventually move more into features.
Tell us something about some of the films that you have already have produced, and what type of projects are you going to go into in the future?
So the first actual professional film that I produced was called "The Future Lasts Forever." I had a lot of fun. I was working on it with a couple of students from film school, and I got to be the producer. And I mean, when I kind of saw what producing was like, I'm like, I think I like this role a lot better. It was nice to get to work with other filmmakers to kind of make sure that our budget was cool, to make sure that our cast was cool. To get a chance to work with the directors and stuff. And then from then on, I started producing like my little mini web series, like loosely based off my life. It was loosely like based on a series that I wrote when I was in mortuary college, which is crazy because like right then in mortuary college, like right after I went to mortuary college, like 6 7 months later, I went right to film school and graduated.
Right. I mean, I've seen like TV series and and maybe short films or like a web series that deals with different professions. Even people driving a taxi cab, like the series
Yeah.
Taxi. In the late 70s. I was young back then, so but I do remember, but I never saw a show to where people actually deal with uh their mortician profession. So that should be like really interesting.
Well,
Yeah, I
Netflix
think they're kind
had they had Barry by the Bernards. I'm not sure if you saw that, but a lot of people like that show.
but what's the name of it?
I think they were on Netflix. It was called like Barry by the Bernards or something like that. It was like kind of like a reality show about a family that was in the funeral business.
Oh yeah, okay. And then I've seen some movies where I seen a couple of movies where you had this guy that was in the in the funeral business, and the daughter was like really freaked out.
Them
They had a
I'm trying
funeral
to see.
business right in there. It's called My Girl with
Macaulay
Anna
Culkin
Clemson,
and Dan
Macaulay
Aykroyd.
Culkin, and Dan Aykroyd. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it like really freaked her out, because the
yeah,
funeral, because the dad, he ran the funeral business like, at the basement of the house. I know that freaked me out too.
yeah. I mean, back in the day, they were in the home. That's why they call it funeral home. You know.
I never really thought of it like that. That's kind of, cool. So
Yeah, I
I meant
mean,
to see content of, of that nature, I think is, like really, unique. We're not getting a lot of unique content,
yeah, I know what
like,
you mean. Yeah, it's like everything feel like you've seen it before.
yeah, it's like cliche is or
Yeah,
something. All the reality shows that, that come on TV, it seems like they have, they're built on, one thing, they built on this fact that the more drama that you have, the more people are going to watch. But I think it's kind of a mimic of of a soap opera, which obviously been around for about
yeah,
70 to 80 years. And,
yeah,
I guess, they tried to top that, and lack of a better word, it's kind of cheesy.
yeah. Well, you know what it is too. Like in the film business, right? A lot of times when you're trying to produce a bigger show, right? A lot of time when you're dealing with like the Hollywood style, they kind of want you to show like you have a successful track record. So a lot of people they make
Oh, he just put himself on mute. Hold on. Um, Let me see if I can get him out of mute.
yeah, they don't want to take a chance on somebody new. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So I mean, that's been the premise of Hollywood for years. You always had,
Yeah,
some new people, that would, come up. Like, in the 80s, you had Emilio Estevez,
yeah.
he was a teenager when he did like 16 Candles for his The Breakfast Club. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards, he
Yep.
was a back then. So that's kind of like Hollywood star. I thought that, over the years they always looking for, that next breakout, you know,
Well,
oh,
they are, but it's like they want to take a chance on what they know would be successful. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
And that's why you're starting to see a lot of more independent filmmakers, like doing their own thing, funding their own projects, and they're
Right,
doing
right.
great. You know?
So a perfect example would be Tyler Perry.
Yep.
Perfect example, independent, producer, filmmaker. He built his film empire from the ground up. And Spike Lee had done an excellent job,
That's my guy
in
there.
as well. I love how, his storytelling, how he captures it,
Yeah.
on film. Also, too, on YouTube, if you haven't caught on to YouTube lately, there's a guy, he calls himself Nelly,
Okay.
and yeah, and he does a lot of he does a lot of web series
You
that
talking
comes.
about Cornell Ross?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
yeah. I'm very familiar with. Yeah, man. That guy's excellent. He's funny too.
So I mean, I'm seeing a lot of that to come on now. That is original, and I'm seeing a lot of that that's popping on, and it's really changing the way that people look at content and
Yeah.
putting
Well,
series together,
well,
and
you know what's
it's
funny? Like when they
way
say
creative.
when they say history repeats itself, because you know, like back in the day, they used to do a lot of shorts, right?
Mhm.
And then they kind of died out, and then now it's like they're coming back.
So I mean, it's original. You know, it's original.
Yeah,
You know, it's original. It's laid back. There's
yep,
not a lot of restrictions. You know, you pretty much can do, you know, whatever you want to do. I mean,
yeah,
Tyler Perry, for example, you know, when he first started, you know, he fund everything, you know, himself.
yep. Mm-hmm.
You know, and folks like, you know, Lionsgate Entertainment, they decide to, you know, take him on, and you know, they saw how big he was, so they took
Yeah,
in his projects, and they done a lot of his distribution, you know, work for him, but for the most part, and you know, putting the film together and paying the actors and the crew, and you know, all that, you know, he did all that. He gave everybody,
yep.
you know, including the guy that played I think it was Sandra's husband on the Cosby Show.
Oh, the guy that plays Alvin, yeah.
Yeah, Alvin, yeah. You know, he revived his acting career.
Yeah,
Um,
that was really nice too. Yeah,
so I think that's where especially in African American community, I think that's where films you know are heading, you know, toward. Because I remember back in the day that you know I used to watch all these and I still do, you know, watch these black portation films with
mm-hmm.
stars like Jim Kelly, Jim Brown, uh Thelma, Rasulala, um, hosts of other cats. You know, back in the 70s and 80s, they really know how to, you know, make original, you know, content. And I think we're getting back to that with
Yeah.
Cornell Ross doing his thing on YouTube.
Even
So just
even what about corporate? Have you ever heard of corporate?
heard of who?
Corporate.
Court, Courtney?
Corporate. I mean, he's like a young guy from Chicago.
No, I haven't heard of him.
Yeah, you should check him out. He's pretty good too. He got the series called Black Chicago. Be like, you should check him out. He's pretty good.
So are you familiar with him? Was I know you're from
Yeah,
Chicago, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with his work.
Have
I
you
mean,
worked with him? Have you
I
worked with
haven't,
him?
maybe someday, possibly,
So where can I find some of your content so I can you know, watch it?
So you can find it like on Vimeo.
Okay. Are you on YouTube? Which platform are you on?
So I'm actually on Vimeo. I don't really have a lot of content on YouTube except for like interviews and stuff, but you can find me on Vimeo, Wade Filmmaker 37s on Vimeo.
Okay. So I see you have like a lot of you know, people that you look up to, like Spike Lee, Jordan Peele, George Lucas, and Tyler Perry. You know, tell me about your you know, your inspiration from them that you decided to go into filmmaking.
So for me, I'll start with George Lucas. So I'm a very big Star Wars fan, and I mean, when you look at his story, I find it like really similar to mine because he went to school for something else, and then he ended up going to film school. He went to film school. He decided like to do more independent stuff. He funded everything himself, and he ended up creating one of the biggest franchises that And I haven't got to that part yet, but I mean, just kind of seeing how instead of him, depending on other people to give him the opportunity, he created it for himself. And kind of like Spike Lee did, I got a huge respect for him for that. And then as far as Jordan Peele is one of my favorite filmmakers because he makes different kind of movies. Like, he has like Nope coming out. He did Us, and like his films are like just totally different, They're like outside of the norm.
Yeah, didn't he do a horror film too? Like was it Get Out? or something. Is that
Yeah, yeah, he did Get Out and Us, and like, he ties like different genres together, and he makes something like different. Like you don't see a lot of people doing that,
Yeah, because
like you said,
I
a
remember,
lot of stuff lacks originality.
yeah, I remember seeing him on some comedy show called Mad TV. That's when on
Hmm.
Fox. That's how I got to, and he certainly has an unorthodox style of
Yeah,
acting, in that um it involves, you'll see some of that, in some of his work. Now,
yeah.
and what about Tyler Perry?
Oh, what? Oh, the funny thing about him is like, what I respect about him now. I'm not a fan of all of his work, but for the most part, I respect him because he's good at helping people, and I kind of grew up watching some of his stuff. And not only that, I like that he acknowledged God. I
Mhm.
give him that. That's one of the biggest things that I love about. I mean, I know a lot of people, they look at it in other ways, but I look at it as at least he does that. You know what I'm saying? Now all the other stuff, that's between him and God, but for the most part, I at least like that he do that.
Yeah, I like the fact that the people talk about him, playing the character of Medea, and that he's like cross-dressing, or something like that, but he's acting.
I mean, like I said, it's not something that I personally definitely would not do. But I mean, for the most part, I love that he acknowledged God, and I love that he helps people. I give
Well,
him that.
I mean, no one is saying anything to about Martin Lawrence. You know,
Yeah,
uh, he played, in the Big Mama trilogy.
yeah, that's true.
So
I mean,
no one is saying anything about that.
yeah, but I mean, you got people that have like mixed emotion, but I always say, that people are gonna make and create what they like, and if they're doing it and that's what they want to do, and people like it, then I mean, I feel that everybody have a different reason for what they do, and I think a lot of that comes down to motive. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people look at what people do, but they don't. They try to throw other things in there, but I always say everything people do comes down to motive, and if their motive is just to create content and things like that, then I mean, if they doing it and they fine with it, then I have nothing to say of them. Like I say, it's not something that I would do. But I mean, they're creating content for people. So
So tell me, so when it comes to filmmaking, do you have like a particular style, or do you have a particular genre that you fall under, when you are making film?
uh
What is your philosophy? What
so
is your
for me,
style?
I call myself like, do you, I don't know if you like those little Hallmark quirky movies, but that would be more my style.
Oh, you mean those movies that be on the Hallmark
Yeah.
Channel?
I feel like I would be great to work with them.
Well, I mean, I like to hear, I'd like to hear, more about that, because you really don't, get to see that, because right now, for example, on the Hallmark Channel, they got this Christmas in July,
Yeah.
thing going on, and you notice while the movie is playing, and people are, doing that thing, you hear that little music in the background.
Yeah. Well, like I
It's
got a
kind of like
little
that.
friend flying around me, but no, but yeah, like what I like about Hallmark is like their movies are very neutral.
Yeah.
They're not a lot of it's not a lot of inappropriate stuff in it. It's just one of those like cool, laid back, quirky movies. Like that's more my style. But I'm also more into making documentaries too.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about some of the projects that you have done in the past.
Oh, so I mean, I done produced probably almost 20 to 30 shorts already. and then I worked on I've worked on like about, I want to say like 2 good documentaries, but I'm working on doing more of those. I want to start moving more in that direction a little more.
So are they more like comedies, drama? Well,
Yeah,
what?
they're a mixture of like comedy and drama. Like I said, it's just something that I made up. Like some people refer to them as skits. I mean, but to me, they're just little short films that I make for fun. I mean, because again, like I feel like as a filmmaker, you learn, you grow. You know what I'm saying? It's like any other field. Like, when you start, you kind of don't always know exactly what you're gonna do, because like a lot of times what people are known for is like not even what they set out to be known for. You know what I'm saying? like if
Yeah.
like you look at like Snoop Dogg as a perfect example. Like he is known for being a rapper or whatever, but like you look at his career now, it's probably not a genre that he hasn't even touched.
I'll give you a perfect example of that. I think in 2010, twice he appeared on the ABC series soap opera, One Life to Live, and he did a clip, for them that I thought it was pretty original, and a lot of people said that they should have used that for the duration of the series,
Yeah,
because it was way better than the original intro that that they have, and
yeah,
and he's a totally different character. He played a totally different character, outside of what he has been doing, and and
yeah.
that's being he has this mentality of being a gangster rapper, and
But
so
see,
when
that's
he
my
did One
point.
Life
Like,
to Live, it was totally opposite. It was totally different, character from from what he portrayed in his music, and that got people watching too.
yep, and that's what I'm saying. Like when you look at him now, he's a totally different guy from when he first came out. You know what I'm saying?
Another
So it's
person
like,
example I can give is Master P.
yep,
An-
yeah,
another perfect example. So we're seeing people like musicians and actors, and even filmmakers, they are evolving into something kind of different, and unique, because a lot of people are saying it's not really much good content to watch on TV these days. And some people even cut their cable.
I know, because everybody look at YouTube now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like pretty much the new TV. Whatever you want to see is pretty much there. That's why everybody making content and putting it there now.
Right, Daily Motion, YouTube, Venmo. That's where people,
Yeah,
are going to, and even like Netflix and something like that.
yeah,
So you basically got to go where the people at,
yeah.
and
Well,
basically,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Television is definitely changing, because like you look at it, like when I was a kid, we had like shows like Full House, Martin, Jamie Foxx, and all of those shows like ran for a certain amount of seasons. But now it's like shows are like pop up shops. It's like they make, like Netflix might maybe do like one season, and then one season might only have 8 episodes, but it's like they do everything like quick, like a pop up shop now. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
it's like not really longevity in it. It's just kind of like, this is what's hot right now. Let's just make it until people don't want it no more. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Which is not a bad idea. You got to kind of move along with the times.
So
Yeah.
is there kind of like people like Cornell, Ross, is that what they're doing? Because I noticed that that's the pattern,
Yeah. I mean,
that they're doing. So I mean, I know there's one web series that got a second season, or a second season, is in the works. So I think it's called Living with My Ex.
okay.
Um, One of my favorite girls, Paige. That girl is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
mean, but
and
it's
my
so
girl Courtney, Courtney,
yeah, yeah. I mean,
that girl is off
it's
the
so
chain.
many it's so many
Of
of them
'em.
out. Yeah, but you should definitely check out corporate. It's like Black Chicago be like. It's pretty cool.
Hmm. I'm not sure where they're from. These actors, that Cornell
Well,
gets.
I think Cornell Ross is in L.A. I think he's in L.A.
So I mean,
I
what he's
believe. I
doing is
could be
like
wrong.
really original. Is that
Yeah.
the type of pattern that you want to follow, or you just want to follow your own path?
I mean, I just want to follow my own, but I mean, even in following your own, though, I mean, you can always learn from other people, you know.
Yeah, 'cause
But I
mhm.
feel like, you should always, because an artist is somebody that's true to themselves. I mean, like I said, that's why I respect George Lucas, because in order for you to show people what you have, you got to make what you like. And because the thing about it is that most artists, they put out what they feel in their heart to make. And I mean, there's gonna be some people that like it, there's gonna be some people that hate it, but for the most part, you write what comes to you. You know, that's why it says from the mind of Cornell Ross, or from the mind of George Lucas, or from the mind of corporate. You know, like everybody has a different style, but that's what makes it their art. You know, that's
So what is the mind of Wade Simmons? When
yeah.
it comes to writing and producing and filmmaking. So
So
take us in the mind of Wade Simmons.
so for me, I really like making like romantic short films. To me, romance is like a funny subject, so I kind of like to play around with that a little bit. But even like I said, I really like to make documentaries too, because it's like it's not an act. I mean, of course, you have to make the story a bit exciting, but for the most part, you take pieces of somebody's life, and you get to interview them, and then you get to recreate it, or you get to like visualize it. Like, I kind of love doing that too. Like, to me, like, documentaries are fun because you get to tell an interesting story about somebody else. You know.
What type of subjects are you planning on getting into with your documentary?
So documentary. So what I want to do, I really want to do more like interview styles about random things, like about restaurant owners, any type of business owner, maybe somebody's life story, or maybe just about somebody's hobby. I mean, I'm kind of open to doing it all. Like I don't really have like a set plan. Like, I want to just be able to, get to know people and kind of help them tell their story.
Well, I mean, that's kind of, what I do with these
Yeah.
I just kind of like what I do with these podcasts. I look for people who have a story to tell, that may not be able to get on a mainstream interview program or TV
Yeah.
or radio station. That's who I tried to find, and
Yep.
and I've been doing this for like 5 years.
Wow.
And we have a growing audience here. We have about over 11,000 people that
Nice.
tune in each weekend
Nice.
here.
It's, yeah.
We're about to blow. We're about to blow up. We're about to start a community radio station here
Oh,
locally.
nice.
That's going to go a 3 mile radius that will probably hit about 25 to 30,000 people in one setting. We getting ready to sign contracts with Westwood One
Okay.
to carry music, and we'll have nationally syndicated programs. We're going to have Donnie McClurkin
Okay.
come in. We're going to do some things with Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, which is actually from Birmingham. I know him very. I know him. He's a Birmingham native.
Okay.
Saint
Yeah,
Scott.
he's very funny. Yeah, he's very funny.
Uh, we also going to do this black this is Black business segment, which is on Bloomberg Radio.
Okay.
We'll have her. We'll have her. To come on. And so we just got to get our ducks in a row, and then we'll sign the contracts. But basically, we're creating our own narrative. The narrative
Nice.
of our people, because
Yeah.
it's being lost, in mainstream media. And I think, when you talk about filmmaking, and film producing, that's also a form of, creating our own narrative, telling
Yeah.
our own story. So,
Yeah, man. You're right, man. Cause like, and then what I like about it, right? I love it because I get to create opportunities for other people. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
And to me, I look at like how Tyler Perry, like how he helped trying to Anne McClain, and she's had a very decent God-fearing young lady. She has had a pretty good career so far. So like, but it's because of him being able to, help her get an opportunity. I mean, she ended up doing a lot of good stuff at a young age. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's good to be able to push other people forward.
So the filmmaking and producing, is that the only thing that you do, or are you planning to make this like a full-time career?
Well, yeah, that's really more so the goal because, like I said, I've been in the funeral business for 11 years, and like I'm kind of ready to kind of do other things, but not only filmmaking, I'm also training for pro wrestling too.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
Because right now the World Games are here, in Birmingham, and that's one of the sports that's being, played right now.
yeah,
Particularly the sumo, wrestling part, and tickets are sold out for that. So it's kind of like a wrestling, it's like a big thing. I remember, plenty of times, before the WWF became WWE, that was like, the big thing. Yeah,
yeah.
Hut, Hut, Hulk
Hulk
Hogan,
Hogan.
Andre the Giant. You have all these folks, Randy Travis, Ted DiBiase. You had all these folks,
Yeah, yep.
back in the 80s. So I mean, what brought that on?
So actually, I wrestled in high school, but really, what happened was that I was planning on doing a documentary about pro wrestling, and I reached out to CSW, and in doing so, I came across Steve Boggs, who is he's a pretty well known wrestling trainer, and I talked with him, and then he invited me to come in or whatever, and I talked to him, and then like he knew that I wrestled in high school from my company, so he's like, okay, man, so when you gonna start training? And I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? At this point, I mean, why not give it a shot? You know what I'm saying? So like, for me, filmmaking led me to that. So it's like, you never know what you can do if you don't try.
Yeah, sometimes, you can try, different stuff, and, you can actually provide, content about your
Yeah.
experiences.
Well,
So, I
yeah.
mean,
Well, that's really been the goal too, because like I said, because to be honest with you, I ended up developing like this vocal condition,
mhm.
which is called spasmodic dysphonia. That's why my voice is like coming in and out. But I was talking to the doctor, and when the doctor was, they know some, things that I've been through in the funeral business and some other things, and the doctor's like, well, I mean, you're a filmmaker, you're writing, you're wrestling, like, why don't you more so focus on doing that way? Because part of my condition is like if I get stressed or anxious or nervous, then my voice gets like real bad, like kind of like how I sound a little bit now. But when I'm excited, it's normal. And so like, so I've been really debating whether or not like, okay, like when am I going to decide to hang up the funeral thing for a while and just pursue these two? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so, but that's really kind of what led me into doing what I'm doing now, because like, from working in the funeral business, you already see that your health is more important than anything, because something happened to me, God forbid, everything, all those other things, that job will still be there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, when you think about life, you start to think more about purpose, and you start to think more about, like, balancing everything out. So I'm like, I'm looking more into focusing just on film and wrestling for now.
Right. I mean, eventually, what I'm doing, which is podcasting, later broadcasting, that's probably going to be something, that I will move into in the near future. It's going to be a full-time,
Nice.
thing for me. So I think we have something, in common. But I
Yeah.
really want to um for you to email me back with, a link to where we can watch your videos. I'll post it on my Facebook page as well as YouTube,
Okay. I appreciate that.
because we plan on posting this on, not just on social media, but we got YouTube, we got Anchor, we got
Nice.
Spotify, we got Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, um, the whole 9 yards. We're going big, with this.
I mean, man, you got to, because like one of the one things that I've been learning throughout my whole journey is that you gotta promote yourself. And
Yeah,
and you know who I credit for that. I brought him up earlier, but Snoop Dogg, right? Like Snoop Dogg is already famous and very well known, right? But I noticed something. I was reading something and he said like he hadn't been on vacation in so many years or whatever. I'm like, man, Snoop Dogg and all his money, he ain't been on no vacation. But I thought about something because he was always working. And I had to put in my master that, you know what, I'm not a very well-known person, but I learned that if somebody just as well-known as him had to get up, hustle, and promote himself every day, that mean I better start running now. You know what I'm saying? You
yeah,
you 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 have to jump out here and promote yourself because see, a lot of people feel like, well, I know a lot of people or whatever. I'm gonna just post and people are doing for me, but you got to realize that everybody has their own life. Everybody has their own things that they like, and so you have to realize, like, you have to build your own audience. Like nobody's gonna do that for you. So I commend you for what you're doing, brother.
I appreciate it. So what advice would you give to people if they want to go into the filmmaking business? What kind of advice or encouraging words would you like to give to someone who wants to go into the filming business?
Well, I would say for me, I would say that it's no right or wrong way to do it. For me, I went to film school, which was good because it connected me with a lot of people. Now, don't get me wrong, we live in society now where, I mean, it's an online community. I feel like this, like, you got to do it the way that it works for you. But whether you go to school or not, the thing is, if you're a writer, write. I mean, if you're an actor, act. If you're a cameraman, get you a camera, do cinematography. But, don't wait on the opportunity. Become the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Create
Yeah,
the opportunity because,
I
we
never went to school for
look
broadcasting,
and look at what you're doing. You know what I'm
and
saying? So,
so I decided to, to pick up a phone,
yeah,
or a computer and say, hey, I'm gonna go into podcasting.
yeah,
And I've been doing it since 2007, actually.
nice.
So I got 15 years, riding.
Man, that's a
Never been,
man, that's awesome.
never been to school for radio broadcasting,
Yeah.
journalism,
Hmm.
none of that. But I did study a little bit, about it, but no formal education,
Yeah. Well,
and
I mean, that's okay because I'll put it like this. I mean, because there's enough information out here now for people to do it themselves. And that's my whole thing, that we have so much stuff at our fingertips now. Take advantage of it. That's my best advice. Take advantage of the opportunity while we have it.
all right, we're gonna get ready to close right here. But if someone wanted to like reach you, how can they reach you or contact you?
Just on Facebook, Wade Simmons. You know, on my actual Facebook page. I mean, I'm a chatterbox, so feel free to inbox me. Then on Instagram, I'm Wade Jedi 99, huge Star Wars fan. You know, I'm a chatterbox, so feel free to reach out. You know,
And if anybody wanted to, watch your, films, how they'll be able to do that?
so you can find me on Vimeo, Wade Filmmaker 37s on Vimeo,
Well, man, I
and be
really,
on the lookout too. I was gonna
okay.
say be on the lookout for me to make my wrestling manager debut. I don't know when. They still trying to get me together, and I got to stop slacking in practice. But for the most part, you know, God willing,
Okay.
I'm looking to do some great things, man.
Okay. I definitely would be on the, I definitely would be on the lookout for that. Hey, look, I really enjoy, talking with you. And this is what I'm talking about. Meeting
Yeah,
interesting people that have an interesting stories. That's what this is,
yeah,
all about. We
and
gotta,
yeah,
I've seen podcasts where they bring the like the traditional, people
yeah,
on, and it's all cliches and all.
yeah,
I'm like, nah, I'm, want to bring in, people that have a unique take on life and different,
yeah,
different and unique, way of putting things.
yeah.
And this right here is no, example. And also too, that we definitely want to feature more African Americans.
Yeah, oh man,
There'll
and
be
you
a
know
lot of
what?
African Americans on podcasts.
It's funny, but you know, it's funny that you say that. I'm gonna tell you why, because you know what I thought about, like back to early conversation when we talked about how like a lot of more people are watching YouTube. I think I know somewhat why, because like it comes down to something you just said. Because see, back in the day when you watched television, you had people in front of you that, you know, like the network decided who they put in front of you. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays, because everyday common people like ourselves are out here creating content to do it, people get to see something different now.
Uh-huh.
They get to see
And
something
people
totally
they tend
different.
to watch, yeah, because and they tend to watch because it's something different.
Yep.
You're not getting the same, routine
Yeah.
type of show, the same routine type of actor, that we have seen, in the
Yeah.
past. That's why, I like folks like Cornell and Courtney, and
Yeah.
all these folks that be on YouTube
No,
because,
yeah.
they're not only that they are original, but their stuff is also.
Yeah. Like that's why I want you to check out corporate. The Black Chicago be like, shit, man, that brother is very creative, man. I mean, hopefully, God willing, maybe one day we'll probably get to work together something. But he is very talented. And then you think about it, like there's a young man that I went to high school with. He's actually a rapper named Ali Cat Nash, the rap. And I mean, man, that young man is talented. And I mean, you know, look at what he's doing, man. Very motivating. Like, you know, when you see people doing good things, like you should be happy for them and support them. You know, don't hate on nobody. Be happy for them.
Yeah,
You know,
because
show them
your time
gratitude.
is coming.
Yeah,
Your
and like
time
I
is
said,
coming.
and then my thing is this: is when you create stuff, you got to be grateful for your fan base. Like whether you got only 10 fans or whether you got millions or thousands, like thank God that somebody likes your work. Like, you know, I feel like you should let people, you know, make that decision whether they like it or not. Like, let people just, if they like it, like it. If they don't, it's okay. You know, like I said, even the greatest content creators, like everybody's not gonna like your work, but I feel like it's okay because at the end of the day, like you create it for yourself and the people that enjoy it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So those are some very encouraging words. I really appreciate that. And, you kind of like, uplifting my spirits as well with this podcasting, thing. In a way, it's kind of like, filming, but, we, do all sorts of interviews. We do
Yeah.
news stories, things of that nature. So it's, kind of like that, but it's on a different scale. But the
No,
premise
but man, but I mean,
remains.
the good thing is that you're creating content and you're doing what you enjoy. And like I said, for a guy that works at a funeral home and bury people of all ages, man, you gotta live to your full potential. And
Mhm.
I feel like you gotta use your time wisely doing something you love, because like you look at it like a lot of people have all these sicknesses and ailments, and you look at a lot of people like, you know, like a lot of people don't realize this, but a lot of sicknesses and stuff like that, a lot of that stuff comes from people being stressed and all that. So being creative is an outlet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's an outlet. So like I commend all content creators, you know, and I try to be supportive of everybody. I mean, if I can get everybody in one room and just shake their hand and tell them congratulations and keep going, man, that would be awesome, you know.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like
fantastic.
I'm not a fan of tearing nobody down. Like, you know, whether you're a big fan of somebody work or not, at least they're out here trying to do something, you know.
Right. And I think it's especially important that, the African American community, they definitely need to hear that. Uh, because, we usually don't get recognized for the work that we do.
Yeah.
But somehow we keep on pushing.
Yep. And you got to, because like I said, you know, man, I mean, to me, this is the greatest job in the world. Like you're doing something that you love. I mean, you can't
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
for a
that's the
better
most
thing, you
important
know.
thing.
And then too, like even being a podcast, like you get to interview people, you get to meet people, you get to connect with people. Like, you know, you never know who you're uplifting when you do that.
Yeah, I mean, ever since I, done that, even, recently, I connected with a lot of people, like, for example,
Yeah.
on social media, and we still keep in contact, to this day. And the most,
Yeah.
the fun part about it, sometimes I get free stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So, I mean, who gonna turn down, who gonna turn down some free stuff? Now, someone come to this and they're gonna drop $1 million in my lap. I'll be a fool not to take that.
Oh man, yeah. Well, when you find them, let me know.
You know, just throwing a little humor here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but for real, I mean, someone drop $1 million on me, I'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I got PayPal, I got Cash App, I got Venmo.
Yeah.
I mean, help a brother out now.
Yeah, man. I
We
can't
trying
fault you
to we
there,
trying to
man.
grow this thing. We trying to make something happen. So,
Yeah.
and for me, I'm like, I'm not gonna wait for an opportunity to come, per se. Um, through God, and his provision, I'm gonna make it happen.
Hey man,
I
and
just
see,
step
I'm
out
with
on
you on
faith.
that. Yeah. And see, you know what? See, you remind me of my motto. And my motto is that make the most of time. Don't let time make the most of you. Don't wait for nobody to give you the opportunity. Don't wait on nobody but the Lord. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah. So I mean, for you, for example, I know that you've been in the funeral business for like, 11 years. You feel like that you ready to step out and do your
Oh man.
thing.
Yeah, man. I am, like I said, because you know, to be real with you, like I think about this, like I kid you not, one of my dear coworkers that I grew up with on the west side of Chicago was only 30 years old. 3 weeks after his wedding, he died in a car wreck. We
Mhm.
just had another coworker that died in an accident, and he was only like 20 something years. And my point is this: is like when you see stuff like that every day, man, it starts to make you realize, like, well, I mean, what am I waiting on? Like, you know, you can't wait to make your dream happen. Every day that God gives you, you got to make it happen.
Yeah.
Because the longer you wait to make it happen, is the longer it may not happen. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
if you get the day, take the day, make the most of your time, and make your dream happen. But don't sit there and wait, because the longer you wait, that's time that you're missing out on. You know. I mean, God not
Yeah.
gonna come down and grab you by the throat and say, "You better make your dream happen." Like, you know, He gives us the chance, the free will, and the option. So, I mean, so if you, as long as you're not hurting nobody, I mean, doing nothing wrong, like why not pursue your dream? You know.
I like that kind of talk right there. Yeah. For sure. But I would definitely like to, if you can provide me with like updates on how you're doing, that would be great because I love to go back and share stories of some of the guests of, how they're doing since
Yeah.
being interviewed here on the work. So, if you can just keep me,
Yep.
Updated, on your
Oh
progress,
yeah, I will.
definitely
Yeah.
great. We love to,
Yeah.
we love to promote
One
you.
thing about me, anybody that tell you that I'm very good with keeping in contact with people, like I say,
Okay.
again, and I credit that for working in the funeral home, because like I say, like it always amazed me, right? That when somebody passes away, you get everybody in the room. But while people are here and they doing stuff, it's hard for people to come together and connect. And I never understood that. So what I told myself is anytime God drops somebody on my heart or I think of somebody, I'm gonna reach out to them. So I try to stay connected to people and I try to check on people as often as I can.
Oh, cool. Well, man, Wade, thanks for coming on here and embrace us with your presence, man. I mean, you brought a lot of energy, here, and I really, appreciate that. And we're gonna make sure that we do everything that we can to promote you and your work, and keep us updated so that we can promote you.
Oh man, I will. And actually, I like to take the time to thank you because again, for believing in a nobody like me, I appreciate you for having me, man. Like,
Man, don't
it
don't
means a
don't
lot.
say that.
No, no, no.
Everybody is
It means a
somebody.
lot, brother.
Everybody is somebody. Remember that everybody is somebody. And with God's help, we gonna make it happen. We gonna put you out there. We gonna put you on the map, man. 'Cause I'm
I
telling you,
appreciate that, man. And
gonna put you on the map. So be on the lookout. I'm quite sure that this is not the last time we're gonna be communicating with each other. So just hook me up. You got my email address. We're gonna stay in touch and we gonna put you out there, yeah, as much as we can because we need something like this.
I mean, man, I really appreciate it, man. That means a
All
lot.
right. And we're gonna close out here, on this note. Is kind of turned out to be a little bit nice. It was kind of humid, but it turned out
Yeah.
to be, a little bit nice. And we're here. You may never know what location that we're going to be out here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, like I said,
keep your glasses.
I, I'm in, I'm in the suburb outside Chicago, and man, right now we got pretty nice weather so far, but it ain't always like this, especially in the wintertime. So I'm getting my hair ready for the winter, man.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, we gonna close
Yeah.
out here, man. But appreciate you being on here and keep in touch. We got another great show next week here on the works at 7 Eastern time, 6 p.m. Central. I know we kind of late, but hey,
I mean, it's okay. Like, hey,
it's cool.
you got, like I said, every day is different. You just got to take the chance when you're giving it.
Yeah, yeah.
And just remember, it's no chances unless we take one, man. So keep on taking them chances and keep trusting God.
Gotcha. Yeah, y'all heard that right, All right, appreciate it. Thank you so much. We got another great show coming next week, so I hope that you would tune in. And we got plenty of other podcasts. We're still looking for guests in August and September, so it's still not too late to drop us a line. That's O as in Oscar, B as in boy, S as in Sam, G as in George, I as in Irvin, A as in Apple at gmail.com. If you want to be a guest on this podcast that works or any other podcast that we have, just shoot me an email. We're looking at our schedule now. And, we're starting to book now for August and September.
Nice.
So, you might have to go to October and November because we're getting tons of requests and, we can't keep up. People, we have really put ourselves out there, people to know that, hey, you got a platform right here. You don't have to go to the Fox or CNN or any of these. You can come right here. We got you because you can be you. You can tell your story how you want to tell it. We do have a few rules, but but hey, for the most part, you're free to be you here. So again, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll be back with another thrilling episode next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay.